It's the Unapologetic Gentleman Season 2. I'm Gonzo. We got my boy T here, JD, a.k.a. Joey. We got a few topics that we want to go with you guys and just kind of have these two put their info and debate a little bit on what we're going to talk about here. So the first topic, to get right into it, we're going to go vax versus unvaxxed. What's your guys' opinion on it? Do you guys think everybody should be vaccinated? Is it okay for people to have the option to be unvaccinated? Restaurants in New York are already, and Puerto Rico, I heard, are already mandating for you to show your vaccination card in order to go into these establishments. What's your guys' opinion on that?
I don't think you should be forced to be vaccinated. That's a choice. If you choose to be vaccinated, I'm perfectly fine with that. If you don't, I'm perfectly fine with that as well. We all have a right to make a choice, and there's consequences that come with them. So, I mean, it is what it is. If you want to get vaccinated, great.
Now, as far as being able to go into a restaurant without your vax card, are you okay with that?
Yeah,
or gym or anything like that?
I'm perfectly fine with that, and I'm perfectly fine with that for one reason only. I mean, these are private establishments. They can make whatever rules they want, and if the government is enforcing those rules as well, guess what? 6-7 months ago, they was taking money from the government. Can't have it both ways, buddy. Yeah. You taking money from the government, guess what?
I agree. See, for me, I'm always gonna go with the freedom of choice, and not be hypocritical. Like I said before, just how Colin Kaepernick chose to take a knee, and he had to suffer the consequences. Whether we agree that it was right or wrong, at the end of the day, the NFL owners made a decision that what you did, you had a free choice to do, and the consequences there were that you weren't going to play for my team. So just like in that way, I believe it's the same. Like, I don't believe anyone should be forced to take a vaccine, but the reality is you don't have a right to go into anyone's private establishment. So if a restaurant says you can't come into my private establishment without being vaccinated, that's their right. Yeah. So really, that's just what it comes down to. I don't think anyone should be forced. I don't think anyone should be chastised for not getting vaccinated. If you feel like that's the best thing for you and your family, then don't get vaccinated. I personally am vaccinated. My dad caught COVID. He's a immune compromised person, and the doctor said that him being vaccinated saved his life. So, if everyone's different on what kind of risk they want to take, all I'll say is I know a lot of people in the healthcare field. I work in the healthcare consulting industry, and from the numbers that I've seen and what I know, there's a lot of people in the hospital, in the ICU because of COVID. What's the word I'm looking for? Because of COVID symptoms, but I don't see anyone in the hospital because of a vaccine symptom. So I don't know anyone that's gotten the vaccine and has been hospitalized because of it. So in my opinion, the risk is worth it. For some people, it's not. Some people have had COVID, like yourself. You've had COVID twice, and you were relatively fine. So I understand your stance in not wanting to get vaccinated. It makes sense to me. Other people who are immune compromised, it makes more sense for them. The risk is probably worth it. And then, the whole, there hasn't been enough data and there's not enough research and these type of things. Again, we're trusting all these doctors and things to save people's lives when you go to the hospital all the time for whatever procedure, whatever checkup. So I'm just going to put my trust in the same people that I've put my trust in my whole life. So that it's that simple for me. I don't believe, I see a lot of people, you're holding everyone back. But the thing is that we're not going to get back to quote unquote normal. Especially like Trump's not in office anymore. So now we have a president who's in office who believes in being vaccinated, who's more liberal. So I think more policies and things are going to tend to shift that way. If Trump was still in office, it'd be a different story, I think. So that's really where I am with it. I don't have a problem with people not getting vaccinated. You just have to understand the consequences of you may not be able to go somewhere. I don't believe you can go to NFL games. I know in Europe you can't go to soccer games if you're not vaccinated. So if you're willing to sacrifice those things, if they were a part of your life, then that's your choice. Just like it's their choice. Because all those sports organizations lost so much money, like they're not willing to jeopardize losing revenue again. So I get from their standpoint, from a business standpoint, it makes sense to make sure people are vaccinated. So
what about, let's say a grocery store, those are private businesses too, right?
Yeah.
Now, what if grocery stores started saying unvaccinated people aren't allowed to come in here? Now you're talking about a way of living, a way of means for somebody.
Well, you bet. They got Amazon can deliver your groceries from Whole Foods if you want.
Is that something that you guys think that it's okay to do though? Because I feel like, yes, you're saying that I don't have to get vaccinated, but if you don't, these certain rights and that I feel are rights to be able to go into.
Let me ask you: your son goes to school, correct?
Yes.
Is he vaccinated?
No,
not COVID vaccine. But when we grew up, you had a sheet, right, with all your immunizations on it. It's no different. The flu, TB, chickenpox, measles, mumps, all those things. And people will go, well, there was years of research, but research that none of you guys ever looked at and studied, and everyone just said, oh, yeah, I'll get the vaccine. But because the doctors are telling me. But these are the same doctors that were telling us. Now, when was the last time you seen someone with measles, mumps, rubella, polio? When was the last time someone died from polio? So at the end of the day, I get the hesitation, but the reality is that we've been getting forced to get vaccines for years, apart from some medical or religious exemption, just like most doctors that I work with have to get the flu, TB, chest x-ray, all these things. So the whole hesitation behind the research I get, but the reality is most people have been getting vaccinated about things that they've never researched and don't know any part of the research about. So again, we're listening to those people. When I take my son to the pediatrician, he told me, hey, Tyrone, your son's unvaccinated. I think you need to get the flu shot and your TB shot, right? This is a medical professional telling me that this is what I think. It's no different with COVID. So again, there's people who don't vaccinate their kids at all, which I'm perfectly fine with. If you choose not to vaccinate, it's the same thing with COVID. We have the same people telling us that told us to take the flu shot to take this. Are there different variations of the flu? Yes. Do people still die from the flu? Yes. Do people still get sick with the flu when they get a flu shot? Yes.
If I don't have the flu shot, I can still go to the gym, the restaurant, without having to show a flu vaccine.
You're right. Because we've curtailed the deadliness of the flu because of the vaccine.
That's why. If
there was no vaccine, remember when the flu happened and half the population died? Well, I don't know if it was half, but a significant portion of the population died. So then remember, when it was during the Spanish Inquisition times, whatever, the Black Plague killed a whole bunch of people too. So again, I understand your hesitation and what you're saying, but my point is that for years we've been doing this. The difference is those vaccines happened a while ago, and we've kind of curtailed the viruses to the point where we don't need everyone to be vaccinated from those things. And I think COVID will get to that point, because the reality is the flu has multiple strains too. So, and whether you're vaccinated with the flu vaccine or not, you're still susceptible of catching it. You're still susceptible of passing it. Yep. Nothing's going to be 99%. Think about it. Everything that we get, bacterial things, Lysol wipes, they all say 99.9. Nothing ever says 100% because nothing's 100%. So, again, I operate off possibilities. I mean, probabilities, not possibilities. So, the probability of the vaccine helping us curtail things and us getting back to what we deem as normal. Because if people want to stop work, because my thing is, and I'm not directing this towards you because I know you're not vaccinated, but most of the people who I know are not vaccinated also don't want to wear a mask, want to go back to normal life, want to go to games, want to go to concerts, want to do all this thing. But the reality is, if people keep dying and keep getting hospitalized in these level of numbers, we're not going to get back to that thing. So you're only hurting yourself from enjoying and getting back to what we deemed as normal before. So that's my thing. You can't have it both ways. Okay, no one's going to get vaccinated and you're just going to live your life, but the numbers keep stacking up. The ICUs keep going up. So the scientific and medical community can't ignore the fact that 90% of the people that are getting hospitalized by COVID are unvaccinated. So until that number drops.
But I would also have to see, me personally, to agree with what you're saying, I would have to see the people that are being hospitalized, what type of underlying health issues did they have before? Are they obese? Are they eating right? Are they exercising?
Yeah, but the reality is the majority of our country is obese. So that's not going to change.
So let me
'Cause
finish.
people are
Let me
still
finish
gonna
my
eat
statement.
steaks.
Let me finish
People
my
are still
statement.
gonna eat
But let me
carbs.
finish. But let me finish my
Okay.
statement. What about individuals that work out, that are healthy, that
Yeah.
do eat right? Shouldn't they have a right to be able to go into these restaurants and private establishments without getting vaccinated?
But it's
Because
not. There's no right.
There's no right.
You don't have a right
We don't
to
have
eat anywhere.
But we don't have a right or freedom. It's an illusion of freedom. You can't do whatever.
I read
the
an
fuck you wanna
article
do.
that
It's
said
all
that
an
the
illusion.
government is actually weaponizing private institutions by using them to get to the people.
No,
Maybe, but
I don't think
for
so.
example, we went to Boston College,
I don't
right?
think so at all. Everybody,
Every
has to
single
be,
person that attend Boston College has to
be
get vaccinated. And people say, well, but what about? It's a private institution. They accept 4,000 kids a year, but they get 100,000 applicants. Do you think they care if you don't want to go to school because you're not vaccinated? No, they'll
Not
just
at all.
take someone else's $75,000. So at the end of the day, a lot of it, as well as supply and demand, the companies that can do it. For example, if Walmart said you can't go on Walmart unless you're vaccinated, right? Do you think Walmart's going to lose business? No, they're not. You know what will happen? People will either get a fake vaccination card or find someone who's vaccinated to go get groceries for them. That's what will happen. Because at the end of the day, Walmart has the power to be able to do it.
I just
because
feel like
where
it's
else are you going to go?
It's the illusion of choice, but it's really not when you're
It is, but every choice, but every choice is an illusion of choice because every choice,
illusion of freedom,
illusion of freedom. Because
Yeah.
every choice, there's consequences.
But it's an illusion of freedom here. We're not free.
Back to the
We
Colin
pretend to be
Kaepernick
free.
thing.
We're not free.
So
You could
to
do whatever-
transition to that, I want to ask you guys this. You guys both, played college football, played in the NFL. Unvaccinated players, do you guys feel like they're getting uncut fairly, or do you guys feel like everything is being done because they're just not able to make the roster?
My personal opinion is if you're not an unquestioned starter and you're not getting vaccinated, then you're just not. You don't care about your money.
The bottom,
That's what it comes down to.
my opinion
me.
is the bottom third of the roster, they're almost equal. You're all almost equal. So if you're vaccinated and and another person isn't, do you want that?
DeAndre Hopkins gets cut if he doesn't get
Absolutely
vaccinated?
not.
No,
Absolutely
he's
not.
He's not in the bottom third.
No, but I'm just no, but I'm
He's
saying-
not in the bottom
Absolutely
third.
not.
He's not in the bottom third.
Like-
Simple. If you're in the bottom third,
For
There's a
example,
chance.
everyone's using the Cam Newton analogy, right? But the reality is, because I believe Bill Belichick's one of the few coaches, and maybe a Sean Payton, and maybe one other guy that they choose the best 53, right? So if
Regardless of
Bill
position.
Belichick believed that Cam Newton undisputably won the job, he would be the
He'd be
starting
the-
quarterback. It doesn't make sense to have Cam the starter. No. On the team if he's not the starter. So the fact that he didn't beat out Mac Jones is the main reason why he got cut.
Absolutely.
Now, the fact that he wasn't vaccinated doesn't mean because he was still getting reps. So it wasn't like they were trying to curtail him. If he was the best player on the team for that position,
He'd be there.
because there's other guys on the Patriots that aren't vaccinated that are still on the roster. So you can't say that's the reason.
Do you think it's going to hinder him getting signed by another team being
No,
unvaccinated?
he's just going to have to wait for someone to get injured.
yeah, he had to wait for a chance. It just happens.
Or
Just
for
wait
a bad
chance.
play to happen. Dak may or may not get injured. But then again, also, he'll get a chance because we know there's going to be a starting quarterback or two that gets in the COVID protocol. Whether they're vaccinated or unvaccinated,
He'll get a chance.
Like look at,
knows when. He'll get
I don't rate him as a player, but what's his face from the Vikings? He's not vaccinated.
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. He's not vaccinated. But he's the unquestioned best quarterback on the team. So
What are you gonna do? You
if Aaron Rodgers said, I don't know if he's vaccinated or not, but if he said I'm not getting vaccinated, what are they going to say? If Pat Mahomes says I'm not getting vaccinated, I think more reason why guys are getting vaccinated is one, they don't want to mess up the money because if you're the reason why a game gets canceled, your team forfeits their paycheck. That's one reason. You're messing up guys' money. And then two, if you want to be available, because availability is a big part of football.
But why is that? Why is the unvaccinated player messing with the team's money if the game gets postponed?
Because the NFL put in rules in place that if you're unvaccinated and you cause a breakout and the game gets forfeited, you guys all forfeit your
a vaccinated
paycheck.
player also spread COVID?
They can. But the point is that if you're unvaccinated, there's a penalty.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
it's an initiative to get people vaccinated. But the thing is, the reason why they're
It's an
pushing so
illusion
hard
of
for it in
choice. It's
sports,
an illusion of
it's not
choice.
an illusion. You have a choice because you
It's
don't
a
have
choice.
to play in the NFL. The NFL playing in the NFL is not a right.
But then you
It's a
get
privilege.
blamed if there is an outbreak if
Absolutely.
you're unvaccinated, but yet the
Absolutely.
vaccinated players can still catch and transmit.
100%.
So
100%.
So what?
But
You
it's-
want everything to be fairly? You're not treated fairly.
I know, but
This shit's not treated.
but what I'm saying
What it is,
that
Gonzo, is just an incentive to get vaccinated.
yes.
That's what it is.
You're
So
not treated-
they're incentivizing people to get vaccinated so you don't.
all they're
Because the
doing.
problem is, it's not that the NFL is worried like, oh, if one of our players get vaccinated, they're going to die. No, those guys are super healthy, even the big 300-pound ones. The problem is that if my starting quarterback catches COVID, right, he's going to have to miss the game. That's the problem. That's the problem that Bill Belichick has. He doesn't want people missing games.
So vaccinated players don't miss games?
No, vaccinated players will miss games.
No, they will miss games.
They certainly will miss games.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you can
but
still catch
you can,
COVID whether you're
but
vaccinated or not.
the probability goes down.
But we know
that's
that.
What you're talking
matter.
about. There's a possibility, yes, because there's vaccinated people that have already caught it. But the overall probability, if everyone's vaccinated, goes down substantially based on the data that medical professionals have said.
And they don't have to be in protocol as
long. Yeah, they don't have to be in protocol as long. I think it's 5 days if you're vaccinated.
They don't
5 days. I think it's 10 days if you're unvaccinated.
So that's another problem.
That's the difference. But this is based off the CDC's recommendations of how stuff gets transferred and things like that.
There's some science behind it. Yeah. Now, do we know the science exactly? Of course not. But there's some
and
science
obviously the
it.
data is changing every day. But based on the data that they have of us having COVID around for almost 2 years, that's what they're making it based off of. So you got to remember, all these teams have high-ranking medical professionals that are giving their advice and their input based on like what we should do. It's not like Roger Goodell said, "Yeah, I'm creating the COVID protocol." No, a whole bunch of doctors sat in a room and said, "This is what we should be doing.
This is the best practice."
Yeah,
the best practice.
So, remember, Cam Newton missed a game or two last year because of COVID. He caught COVID last year.
You just can't do that to a team, and that's just the way they're.
It's about availability.
It's about availability.
It's an incentive. It's an incentive to make sure people are available. Because also, I think if you're vaccinated and someone catches it and you're in close contact, you only have to isolate for like a couple of days. Yeah. So if you're unvaccinated, you have to isolate longer, even if you didn't catch it. That's the difference. So whether I'm not saying the science is perfect. It's just based on what they have now. Now, I agree. In 2 years, a year from now, those things could change because the science and the data always changes. That's why people say, well, in 5 years, yeah, but it always changes. Science is always evolving. That's why there's variance and all this type of nonsense. Like, that's the reality. But based on the data that they have now, they decided that this is the best process. And that's why there's teams in the NFL that are fully vaccinated, multiple teams. But
so this is a hard transition, but it's a topic that we really wanted to get in and we wanted to talk about. The troops pulling out of Afghanistan, Biden pulling the troops out. It's one of the hot topics, trending topics right now. How do you guys feel about it? Do you guys feel we should have been there in the first place? Do you feel like we pulled out too early? What do you guys think?
I mean, of course, I feel like we should have been in the first place.
Should or shouldn't have?
Should have. With
you feel like we should have been in the first place?
Yeah, of course. There's no reason you can't. If you believe that that 9/11 was attacked or that, you can't. You have to go. You have to go.
But we were there before 9/11. Some people would say that's the reason why 9/11 happened.
But
was because we were there occupying their countries.
Some people will. Yeah. What I'm saying is, because of that situation, you have to be there. So we had to go. I'm not gonna. You had to make.
You mean we had to add troops after 9/11?
You had to make. You had to make your. You had to make your presence known.
Yeah.
So I completely agree that you had to be there. You had. To
I think everyone agrees with that.
I think. Okay. Yeah. So now, should we have been there that long? No. Should we be pulling out troops? Absolutely. Is their government faulting and did we lose some troops in the process? Absolutely. Is that unfortunate? Of course, but that should have happened. We should have pulled those troops out of there a long time ago. You can't scream that, you love our troops and bring our troops home and you're all for military if you got our troops halfway across the country fighting a war we shouldn't be fighting. Being in a process they shouldn't be in. It has nothing to do with that. So let's go.
See, I find it ironic too because I see a lot of people who are anti-Joe Biden that are blaming this on Biden, but the reality is that when Trump was in office, Trump said we need to get the troops out of here as fast as possible because this war we've been going. It's been what 20 something years. So, I mean, I think everyone believes that after 9/11 we had to reinforce the area, go get Bin Laden, get revenge, whatever you want to call it. But we've just been there too long, and there's multiple military people that have been over there from for the U.S. and have been over there in the private sector that basically said like this shit was a money grab for the extended period of time that we've been there. So let's be honest, like oil was involved, the private sector training people people were making billions of dollars over there. Companies were making billions of dollars over there. So, I mean. I don't believe that any way we would have pulled out there would have been some casualties. Could we have done it better? Maybe. But the reality is Joe Biden either didn't listen to the advice of his military group or his military group advised him wrong based on some things. But I don't even know that necessarily. I think there would have been casualties anyway. But
there we go.
But maybe they should have left a bigger military presence over there as they were extracting people.
I believe I
think that's the one criticism that could be legitimate. But again, it's not like he's making this decision in a vacuum. He has military advisors, a cabinet, everyone's deciding. It's not like he's like, oh yeah, let's pull him out today. Like this is based on the advice that he's getting from people that are over there. The process
that they gave to evacuate it had some probability to it. And it was probably the highest probability of bringing home the amount of troops safely.
Yeah, I mean, in a fast manner.
In a fast manner. I don't even think it was necessarily a fast manner. I think they actually thought about it and they took time before they brought the troops out of there. But it doesn't make a difference. There was some probability. There was some measure of how they were going to evacuate and what would happen. This was the highest probability, and obviously something.
I mean, everyone knew the area was going to be destabilized after our troops left. That was what it is. It
didn't make a difference who the hell was being who the hell the president was at the time. That would happen, and that would be the result of it, regardless.
But what do you guys think in the sense that, because I know a lot of people that feel like we've been policing other parts of the world for too long, and the reality is there's a lot of bad things happening in a lot of countries, but because there's no incentive for us to be there, we're not there. So should we just leave them to their own devices and them figure out what they're going to do, like we allow other countries that need help in Africa and other third world countries that we leave alone because there's no financial benefit for us to be there? You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like the U.S. is just trying to play hero because they can gain from it.
Yeah. But in the process, a lot of troops have died over those 20 years that maybe
they
shouldn't have died.
Not maybe. They shouldn't have.
But I mean, the 9/11, when we responded to 9/11, there were going to be casualties, of course. But I'm saying over the prolonged period that we've been there, I mean, it's iffy. Like
my good nature says that we should help people. We should help people in need. But it is a selfish help. Like we only help countries that we can profit off of or benefit off of. So that doesn't necessarily align with my nature. But I do think at some point in time we should help, but we should help everywhere, in my opinion.
But we help.
It's just a little.
We help Israel, and it's not financially beneficial to us.
We do. I'm just saying there's other places that we do.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I was in the Air Force from 2005 to 2011, and I was a medic, and I was 19 years old when I joined, and I was in charge of taking care of the troops that used to come back from Iraq and Afghanistan, the injured soldiers that would come back, whether it was Army, Marines. And I've seen the realities of war. I didn't see war myself, but I've seen what comes out of war. I've seen 19-year-old kids coming back my age, missing limbs. I've seen grown men looking me in my eyes, asking me, "Please don't let me die." And I was at a young age when that was happening to me, and I was experiencing those things. So for me, man, I just feel like in an age to where it's 2021, man, and even back when Iraqi freedom and all that started, we're too barbaric as humanity, and it's disgusting to me because if you've really seen what comes out of war, you'd know what I'm talking about. And it's crazy because I got goosebumps right now because I'm just reminded of the things that I saw, and I don't think that we should be in anybody's country taking care of their problems and their beef if we don't need to be. And if we're there for the wrong reasons, whether it's for oil, money, whatever it is, I don't think that innocent Americans should be dying for that. That's my opinion on it.
I agree with you. I mean, I do want to help people, but I do agree with you. I don't think innocent Americans.
But the reality is every major power has some sort of agenda where there's going to be casualties and there's going to be that fine line between making money and sacrificing, soldiers. So it's a tough one, man. Like
another thing right now that's a hot topic in my opinion is the Texas abortion laws. With what they're doing with women's rights right now. How do you guys feel that should be handled? What has been handled wrong? What's your guys' opinion on that?
It's like it's like the Twilight Zone out here, man. It's like
we're going backwards. It's like we're going backwards.
Handmaid's Tale out here, man. Like
It's 2021 and we're acting like it's 1940.
I can't believe it. In the level of the amount of people that I've seen on social media defending it is like it's crazy to me. Like I get that being anti-abortion.
Defending it? What do they say? What are they saying? Like, what do you mean?
People
How are
are
they defending
saying basically a lot of people are comparing it to like COVID and getting vaccinated and like, well, you're not allowing me to make it my choice, so why should I allow you to be able to choose? And also people are arguing like, oh, it's because a lot of people are using it as a contraceptive, but the reality is the data shows that that's not why the majority of women get abortions. It's not because for a contraceptive reason. So, and the fact that they're not making exemptions for rape and incest is crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
When
When I saw that line and it was like the last line, like the last bullet point, I was like,
holy
what?
shit.
What was that line that you said?
There's no exceptions for
rape or incest.
Exceptions for rape or incest. So you're basically telling a woman that if she gets raped in Texas, she has to have the baby.
You still have to have
if it's after, if it's 6 weeks or later.
6 weeks or after. Yeah. Which is crazy. Because what you hear from women is most of the time you don't know that you're pregnant at 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is
especially if it's your first time being pregnant.
So
I think if you've been pregnant before, you have a better chance of knowing earlier.
I'm going to put this disclaimer out here before I say this. This is not my thoughts or my opinions on this. This is something that I saw on the internet, and I want to see what you guys think of it. It was somebody saying, what if guys had the choice as well if they wanted to be fathers or not? Like if they told the woman, I don't want you to have this baby because I'm not ready to be a father. Like, is that something that?
Yeah, but we're way past that as a.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Because he was
as
trying
a
to.
Species,
He was trying to ask if that was a fair statement to say.
It's a fair question to ask, but
what is a fair question?
If he gets a
from
woman
a hypothetical
pregnant,
standpoint,
yeah, let's say he gets a
but-
woman pregnant and the individual says, "Hey, I'm not ready to be a father financially. I don't want to take care of
People
this baby.
say that all the time.
I don't want you to have this baby." Should the father have the right to say?
Well,
I don't
then
want you to have the baby?
most
No,
people would
it's
say
not
you shouldn't have had sex.
It's not your body. It's not your body.
Sex.
You can't tell somebody what to do with it. Of course not. You can't do that.
Well, the moment a woman's
So
pregnant,
it's
a
not
man
your
has
body.
no.
You can't tell somebody what to do. Is that
No,
what you just
it's
said?
not your body. You can't tell someone what to do with that. And you want to compare that to vaccines? Please let me know. Please let me know.
I'm just
I'll go
asking
there.
the question.
It's not your body. You can't tell me what to do with that. So I'm not telling you to get. I'm not telling you to get vaccinated. You have a choice to get vaccinated or not to get vaccinated. I'm sorry, you're going to lose privileges if you don't. That's your problem.
Just like
That's
a woman
your
has the choice to have an unwanted child and
Or
risk the
not.
father possibly not staying
being
with
there.
you or being in your life.
Guess what?
That's a choice that you have to make.
all those
So
situations
you know
are
what's
choices.
crazy? So that's the
Those are
question,
choices.
but that's the question that he imposed. He said, if the father says before she has the baby, I don't want to be the father, I don't want to be financially, liable for this child, and she has the baby, should he still have to pay child support?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's
That's
still
what-
your
that's-
child.
Absolutely.
Of course. That's why the government's
Because
there.
at the end of the day, the choices that you made led up to
that
them having
situation.
the person having a child. So
Yes.
the reality is, based on the laws and how we've evolved as a world, apart from Texas, is once a woman becomes pregnant, the man no longer has a say.
Yeah, you know every choice in it.
Which I don't disagree with that. But I mean, again, the woman is going to have to make a choice as well, and then suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
And we know of situations like that. So that's also the reality.
And
You
you-
may
and-
be
and-
a single mother.
Who did you say is fighting it with that law that the Texas made? Who did you say is
I think that the Justice Department is trying to contest it somehow, but I don't know, just because of the way how everything's different in every state. I don't know.
I'm guessing there was no women in that committee that made that vote.
There's
to
a
pass
woman.
that.
No, there's definitely was one.
Yeah.
There's 100. I know tons of women who are against abortion. Tons.
Got it. No matter the situation, whether it was rape, incest.
Now I don't know about no matter the situation, but there's lots of women who are pro-life.
Pro-life.
Yeah, because of
100%.
your spirituality or your
Yeah.
religion.
But I think
Yeah.
there's
100%.
one or two women on the Supreme Court justice. Am I correct?
Yeah.
There's at least one or two. So they also made a decision. So
Yeah.
That's tough, man.
It is tough, but
it's
again,
insane.
choices, man.
No, and I'm saying that's tough from a spiritual or religious standpoint, because I feel like that's easy to say unless it's your child or
Of
niece
course,
or
because
nephew
a lot
that
of
got
those
raped
people,
by somebody.
a lot
and
of
all
those
a sudden-
people's children have had abortions as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because
That's
they
like-
don't, because a lot of those same people are the people who look down upon people who have children out of wedlock, and their kid gets knocked up, and next thing you know, they're getting an abortion that they didn't tell anyone about. So
now to transition to a lighter tone here. Especially you, T. I know you big on music. Drake, Yeezy released the album less than a week apart. Who won that heavyweight fight?
I mean, I've listened to both albums multiple times, working out in a car, different settings, at work. I would say neither is there is
you're going
not,
going
neither. No, I'm saying neither album was either one of them their best quality of work. Like, I don't think either album was a classic. I don't think either album was one of their best 3 albums or 4 albums. But I would say that because Kanye's album was a gospel album, I would say from a sonic standpoint, in terms of production beats, it was phenomenal. There were some things left to be desired on some songs in terms of he had a lot of collabs and things like that, and there was too many songs. Like, I think he had 26 or 27 songs. Like, there's no need. And I think Drake had 21 songs. That's just too many songs, in my opinion, for an album. I thought Drake's album, from a production standpoint, wasn't very good. But he's super talented. Obviously, he always raps well. He had some good collabs. He had a couple of great songs on there. I mean, I would say, my personal opinion, I think Kanye's album was better. But I think that's because I knew Kanye was releasing a gospel album, so my expectations were different as opposed to Drake just releasing a Drake project.
So if you had to toss one out your car and keep one in your car bumping, you're going with Kanye. Yeah,
but I also believe that J. Cole, who also came out earlier this year, his album was better than both of theirs.
Agreed.
In my opinion.
That I agree with. But we're talking about Yeezy and Drake right now.
I know.
So you're going Yeezy.
I would personally go Yeezy.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So I haven't listened to both albums. I'm like halfway through Yeezy's album. So I really can't make an informed decision about this right now. I do like some songs on Yeezy's album. I do not mind the gospel undertone.
I think it's dope. Yeah, I think he's going to win a Grammy for a gospel album of the year. So, and there's no cursing on the album either.
Really?
No cursing.
I didn't even catch that.
Nope.
So yeah, I don't mind the gospel undertone. I appreciate it. It's not a bad album. Like, I'm like 10 songs in. It's not a bad album. I plan to finish it probably.
What do you think about him leaving Chris Brown? And
he left lots of people off. Yeah, lots of people got left off. The reality is, like, I heard some other artists talking about it. No, but you got to remember, he had hundreds of artists that came to Wyoming to do stuff. So I'm sure, like, but normally what Kanye will do is he'll either release, because he's going to start coming out with more projects, or he'll release it in like a 7-pack or something like that. Like, those songs will get released. They just didn't make the album.
No, I don't think it's. First of all, you can't.
I don't think it's disrespectful at all. It's Kanye.
There's two things. So you can't tell me this doesn't happen. So you can't tell me this is not the first time you've been left off.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
So you making a big fuss out of this shit.
DJ Envy was calling Kanye a clown like crazy. Now, I don't know if y'all saw that.
I do think that you should let somebody know they're not gonna be an album. You should give them a courtesy call. Hey, yo, Chris Brown, you're not gonna make your verse is not.
But also, I heard
you should give people a courtesy call. But fuck that. Like, I can't
remember if it was Universal or Def Jam, whoever. I can't remember whoever is their big affiliate, but. When they initially released the album, Kanye said they took DaBaby out because DaBaby was supposed to have the second verse in the Jail song with Jay-Z. They took his verse off the album because of the homophobic comments that he made, and then Kanye said they re-released the album again, and then they made Jail 2. So he had his own verse apart. So I don't know. Maybe Jay-Z also didn't want him on the song because of his comments. I don't know. Yeah. But it was some political type thing where DaBaby wasn't on the first release, and then they uploaded it like a day later.
That's one song we can understand.
Of course,
of course. I'm talking about like literally everybody, like Kanye.
Yeah, I mean, but he had hundreds of people that came that laid verses, laid tracks, and that didn't make the album.
I don't listen to music as much.
Pusha T wasn't on the album, and that's his right hand man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he's on everything.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he had multiple verses and probably helped Kanye write half his album, which Sci-Hi the Prince as well, but they didn't have verses, and those is his two main writers. They didn't have verses on the album. So for someone like Chris Brown and other people to get mad, like, his right hand man's who co-wrote half the man's work, they ain't on it. How you gonna get mad at him?
Yeah.
Like,
See, I don't listen to music as much as you guys, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this on record that I think Kendrick's album is gonna beat both of them out when it comes out.
And this is his last. This is his final album with TDE. I think it's gonna be crazy.
I think it's gonna be better than both these albums.
He just came out with a song featuring on someone shit called Family Ties, where it's like, remember that Control song that he came out with Big Sean, where he was going it's one of those. One of those.
I
where
think he kills. I think he kills both of his albums.
I'll kill everybody in your top 5 type. Like people think he's directly talking to Drake.
Stop looking at me. I don't care about Kendrick.
No, I'm just saying.
You don't care about Kendrick?
No,
I'm just saying.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, man got a Pulitzer Prize for an album. He's special.
But
so
good for him.
So you don't care about. I think Kendrick and J Cole right now, when they release something, I'm listening.
I don't care about J Cole music either.
So you don't like lyricists? I get it. You just like.
I grew up on lyricists, but okay.
I'm just saying. How do you not like these two?
I
Then?
don't like their albums. I don't like their music. I think I find their music to be boring.
So you need more of like a vibes thing.
Yeah, I need a little bit of vibes and some.
So who would you put over them as far as vibe, like a vibe? Now I want to know.
I don't
No,
know.
now you got.
So you like Drake's music better than theirs?
Yeah.
No, okay, that's cool.
But I don't.
What about new artists right now? New artists.
I think from a listening standpoint,
I like the baby.
So you put the baby over both of them?
I mean, I don't know. I just like his music. I don't actually lyrically,
but they're very conscious.
I don't want their conscious rapping.
They're very conscious as rappers.
When they're rapping, I don't want to think about my fucking rap music. It's like Nas. I enjoy Nas, but I don't want to think about my fucking rap music. What do you rap, bro? Rap.
No. You're right. You're right.
Bro,
he wants
I
that
like
party.
I like that. No, I like
rap.
that.
I want to enjoy my music, bro. Rap.
No. I like the conscious.
I do too. But there's time and a place for it.
Of course. You're not gonna throw that on at a house party.
I prefer lyricists in general over all else.
Where's the time and place? I don't want either one of them tapping into my conscious thinking. Where's the time and place?
So like Lil Baby, the Baby, all of them. You pick them over.
So you didn't like Jay-Z's 444 album.
I want entertainment value.
You didn't like Jay-Z's 444 album.
I did enjoy it.
Extremely conscious.
I did enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I like his other albums.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
I enjoyed it.
That's fair.
That's fair. Come on.
So if you had a choice,
that's fair. That's fair.
If you had a choice right now, J. Cole album, Kendrick Lamar album, the Baby album, you go in the Baby.
Probably.
See, I think that J. Cole and Kendrick and J. Cole to me are much better rappers than Drake and Kanye. But I would say if I had to listen to their musical catalog altogether, I would rather listen to Kanye and Drake. Their whole catalog from a musical standpoint is better, but I think those guys are better rappers.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so you get a little bit of.
It's kind of like I think Jadakiss is a better rapper than Fab, but Fab makes better music than Jadakiss, in my opinion.
But I'd like to listen to Jadakiss over Fab.
Yeah, I do like to listen to Jadakiss. I'm just saying I prefer listening to Jadakiss more, but from a musical standpoint, like the production, all that type of stuff, the beats, Fab tends to be better. But I think Jadakiss is a much better rapper.
Yeah.
So
hey,
you know who I'd rather listen to right now? Partisan Fontaine. I will listen to his music all.
But he's a lyricist, though.
He is a lyricist, but it's not really conscious rapping.
No, it's
but
not.
I would listen to his fucking music.
Do you listen to the beat more than you listen to the lyrics?
No.
There's some people that do that. That's what I'm saying.
But because it creates a vibe, though. That's why.
But the beat just creates
it's a big part of it, though.
The beat makes me want to listen to the lyrics. That's how.
Yeah,
but that makes me want to listen.
But that's why I love Kanye so much, though. His catalog, because of the overall like production, the beats, everything that, because he's not necessarily a great rapper, and anything that he says great probably pushes to your side of Prince Road, anyways. So it's like it's a vibe, like it's an ambiance with him for me. Anyways, with Kanye, but I think he has one of the. I think him and Drake have top 5 catalogs.
Yeah, but
rap.
For me, it's the old Kanye though, man. It's the old Kanye. This new Kanye, I don't really like too much, man. I need a college dropout Kanye. That's what I need. That's why I
feel like the shit he was saying in this was very similar.
Nah, I need college dropout Kanye.
My opinion.
He was extremely conscious. His first 3 albums were very conscious.
I need college dropout Kanye. That's what I need. But hey, real quick, since we're about to wrap it up here, we're 3 days away from the NFL season opener. I wanted to get some bold predictions from you guys, man. Who you guys think is going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to be NFC? Who's going to be AFC? And the Homer talk. And who is your sleeper team? I want to know sleepers. I want to know sleepers that people aren't talking about.
Who that?
Come on, man. You're a Homer. Cut it out.
Who that said they going to beat them Saints? Who that?
So Saints.
Who that said they gonna beat them?
Saints
First of all, what determines a sleeper?
Who that
A team that hasn't won a Super Bowl in a long time,
A team that hasn't made the playoffs, hasn't won the Super Bowl.
Because my sleeper team would be the Bills, but they made the playoffs last year.
I mean, there's no such thing as a sleeper team.
Okay, so it's
there's
Super
no
Bowl.
team. There's no
A
team
team
that
that
did
hasn't-
not make the playoffs last year that will make the fucking Super Bowl.
Okay, so
Not
that's
fucking
fine.
one.
A team that hasn't won a Super Bowl in a few years. Who would you
The
say?
Buffalo Bills.
So Buffalo Bills versus who?
No, I'm saying that's my sleeper.
Okay, so what two teams are going to play in the Super Bowl, and why?
The Saints,
So why?
because
There's no
Is that
Drew
your
Brees.
heart talking?
There's
or
no
your head
Drew
talking?
Brees. There's no Drew
Heart or
Brees.
head
I
talking?
don't care about Drew Brees. I think we're gonna.
I think Jameis Winston's a quality
I think
NFL
they're gonna
quarterback.
play great defense, and
Personally,
I think they're gonna make a lot of plays on offense, and I think they're gonna do a lot of change of pace shit with Jameis. And
Will Jameis
Tyson
Winston
Hill.
have a better year than Drew Brees had last year? Not career, last year.
I think Jameis
Yeah.
Winston goes to the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah, he'll have a better
Under
career.
Sean Payton. I think he goes to the Pro Bowl.
half the year. Breeze is hurt, of course.
Because I think once it gets down to money time, Michael Thomas will be healthy. I think he's
Yeah.
missing like how many? First 6
3 or 4
games?
I think 4.
Saints versus who?
Oh no, 6 games, but it's injury for 5. No, there's an early bye week.
Yeah,
so that's why.
Saints versus KC?
Yeah, it would have to be. I don't see any other team coming out of AFC outside of Kansas City. I don't give a damn about the Bills. They're not beating Kansas City because they have to beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Not gonna happen.
Who you got? Super Bowl. It's your sleepers, the Buffalo Bills.
Kansas City's an obvious pick, but I don't know.
I feel like Kansas City did not. They didn't. They got a little better.
Yeah, they addressed their offensive
They
line
addressed their
issues.
offensive line.
My-
they got a
my
lot-
I
sleeper-
feel like
my
this
sleeper
is the
team-
year that maybe he has a dip.
I got the Washington football team making some noise.
What?
Yeah,
I mean, they're in a
I can't
terrible
even-
division, so
I
it's
can't
not
even.
possible.
I can't even have this conversation.
I really
I
do.
mean, their division is
I can't
horrible.
even have this conversation.
With Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
that's
lie.
why I can't.
And I
think-
think Cam Newton needs to go in there and sign.
I think this is the year.
Ryan Fitzpatrick won't make it past 6 weeks.
I think this is the year that
He won't make it past 6 weeks.
their running backs out for the season, though. That's a big
Who are we
part.
talking about?
The Ravens.
The Ravens, their running backs out for the season.
Yeah, but you can run it back by committee. You can run it back by committee.
I know,
It's not a problem.
but
With that-
Dobbins was getting busy last year.
With that O-line, you can run it back by committee. I'm not tripping on that.
I'm
I just don't think
I'm
it'd be-
gonna not go because the obvious choices are Kansas City and Tampa again, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say Baltimore out of the NFC.
I do like that pick though, because my man can get paid again. My man can get paid. My man can get paid. My man can get paid.
I would say Baltimore and
New Orleans, stop it.
Baltimore and Green
New
Bay.
Orleans.
Baltimore, Green Bay.
No chance Green Bay goes.
Those will be that's my pick.
All that dysfunction, no chance Green
That's
Bay
my
goes.
pick.
I need to see Lamar.
I think Aaron Rodgers has another MVP season.
He does play well because that's what
I think he has another
but
MVP.
but I just
season.
think
got too
Lamar
much
has to show
dysfunction.
something more from the pocket too, though, man. He has to
I
show a
think
little
I'm,
bit more.
I'm hoping in my pick that he's progressed a little.
They don't got no receivers though. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Name a time during his career they had one.
That's what I'm saying. That's the
Doesn't
problem.
make a difference.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a difference.
He still won
Andrews-
MVP
Mark
through
Andrews
35
is his
touchdowns.
best.
He still does it without it.
Yeah.
I don't care. Name a team.
It's because he has the legs. That's what gave Cam Newton him. Because Cam Newton, the year he won MVP, his receiving core was terrible, but he had legs. As long as Lamar still has his legs, I think he'll be
the
fine.
longer the play goes on, the more chances of there being a big play with
And
receivers.
the
So you
thing
got
is,
Saints
they
and who?
have fast receivers,
City,
though.
you said?
Like
Yeah,
big
Saints
play
City.
receivers. That's the thing. They don't have receivers that
Possession.
They don't have possession
or
and get you
shit.
first,
No,
but
it's
like
just long ball.
Hollywood Brown and them dudes, like they get behind you.
They get
Like
behind
you got to lay off those
The
dudes.
longer the play goes on, the bigger plays will happen.
Yeah.
That's
my
football.
picks.
That's always football.
Yeah, I would go Green Bay against the Ravens.
I can't go Green Bay. What the
And
Best,
then my sleeper in the AFC is the Bills. My sleeper in the NFC
LA.
is
LA.
With Matt Stafford, yeah, I
LA.
like that. I like that.
LA. And I honestly I think they digressed a little bit.
I think Baker
their
Mayfield has a
defense
big
system
year
is
this
good.
year, by the way,
No.
with the Browns.
Baker's still Baker. Nah. And honestly, I don't think their receiving core is going to be as any.
Is Odell Beckham done?
I'm about
Is
to tell
Odell
you,
Beckham done?
Yes. And
OBJ
I fucking
done?
hate it. I know. I'm not gonna say done. I'm not gonna say done. He's not.
I
He's
think
not as
that's my sleeper
dynamic
team
as-
in the AFC.
The Browns?
Yep. Yep. And hey, I got a question for y'all. Over or under? The Dolphins won 10 games last year, missed the playoffs. Over or under 10 games?
Under, and I love him.
I think Tua makes a big jump this year.
Over.
I just think
Over.
that their division
They
is
go
too
11.
hard. I think
11 and 6.
I think they have the best. I
Their
think they have
division's too tough.
one of the best divisions in
Their
football.
division's too tough.
That's the problem. I think even with Mac Jones,
who do they
all the
play?
players that they signed and all the players that are coming back, the Patriots will be relevant and probably go to the playoffs.
And that's why I don't think it.
It's going to be tough.
And that's why I
But
don't think
I think they're a good football team on paper.
I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs. But to say they're going to win 10 games, I don't think they'll win.
They didn't make it last year in 110.
I don't think they'll win 10
Last question for you guys.
Who do they play this
who's
year?
going to be the best quarterback out of the draft last year? I say Trey Lance.
No, he won't get a chance to play for 5 weeks.
No, but I'm saying at the end of the, I'm going to say Trey Lance.
I'm going to say my boy in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Justin Fields. I think we'll be the best.
Hey, Nagy, get him in the damn ball.
Best of the.
I
think he'll have the best career.
He won't start until like week 4 though.
Yeah, but I'm talking about.
stupid.
You're talking
Get him in the
about
damn
next
ball.
year. Who will have the best season or for a career?
I think for a career.
I think Trevor Lawrence has the best season just because he'll play the most.
He'll play the most.
But I think in the long term, Justin Fields will be
The better quarterback out of all of them. I think Trey Lance is going to be the better quarterback out of all of them.
No, and the Dolphins play the AFC South. They in trouble.
So what's the record? What's the record going to be?
apart from?
I think they'll have a tough game in the Colts. They'll have a tough game with the Colts, and they'll have a tough game
you
with
think
fucking.
the Colts are gonna be good
I think
this
they'll have
year?
a tough game. Or do they play the South? Because I see the Raiders on this too.
You think the Colts are going to be good this year?
I'm lying. I'm lying. You know that? No, I'm lying. They play the NFC South. Trouble.
Yeah, that's trouble.
Trouble.
That's one of the
They
best.
played
teams.
So
NFC
what's the
South.
record? What's the
Trouble.
Dolphins record
I
going to
don't
be?
Yeah,
think
but
they
that's
win the
only
10 games.
trouble with 2 teams. Is
That's
Atlanta going to
enough.
be good this year?
That's
is,
enough.
Is Carolina going to be good this year?
That's enough.
Carolina's quarterback is what's his face from the Jets.
Sam
That's
Darnold.
enough. I'm not worried about Sam Darnold.
What's the
I'm worried about-
what's the
I'm worried
record?
about-
Dolphins record. Give me Dolphins record. Go
I
for
think they win 9 games.
9 games.
So there's an extra game this year.
Yeah,
this year,
17.
Oh shit, there is.
17. I say 11-6.
Maybe they do that.
11-6.
Maybe they win. Maybe they get to 10. Maybe they get to 10.
You can go 10-7.
Maybe they get to 10.
11-6. I go 11. You going 10-7?
It's gonna be. That's one of the best. That's gonna be one of the best divisions of football.
It's gonna be one of the best.
What year is this going to be for Flores coaching there? 3? Year 3?
Yep.
So is that when coaching usually sees a big change in their?
I mean, they saw a big change last year.
Last year. Yeah.
They were a
defensively,
quality
yeah,
team.
yeah.
They were a quality team last year. They got good players. It's just it's Tua gonna make the jump that necessary for them to be a special team. It's on Tua, really.
It really is. Ravens. They play the Ravens.
So we're gonna leave it at that, boys. Season 2, episode 1 is a wrap. We'll be back with you guys in about 2 weeks. We're gonna be dropping some episodes for y'all. Anything you guys want to say before we take off?
Nah, everything
good.
that needed to be said.
We out.
Peace and love.
Season 2. Let's go.